We haven't done voicemails in a while. I think it's time.
Okay. You know, I'm always a little on edge because I feel I'll be criticized.
You always say that, and then I never give you any that are critical.
So you're saying there are ones that are
I'm
critical
not saying that.
You just did.
I'm saying I never give you any that are critical. I was going to maybe go on to say there are no critical ones.
I don't think you were, but it's okay. There's got to be.
But
this is America where 50% of people hate the other 50%. They can't all agree on Conan
This is a voluntary thing where people call in and they're already fans of yours. This is not going to be the place where there's craziness in there for sure. But
good. Well, that's how you know they're my people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's. I'm ready. I've prepared myself.
Okay, Eduardo, punch it.
Hey, Conan. This is State Senator Kathy Breen. I'm calling from Maine, and I'm calling to see if you are familiar with the retired presidential yacht, which is called the USS Sequoia. Given that you are such a history buff, I wanted you to know that the ship is being restored here in Maine at a shipyard in Belfast, and I wanted to invite you to come and see the ship sometime during its restoration, which will be over the next few years. It's an amazing vessel, literally, American history, that will just blow your mind when you realize all the many events and historic figures who spent time on the yacht. It was in service from the time of President Wilson until President Carter, and it really just an amazing gem of U.S. history, and it's here in Maine for a few years getting restored. So I wanted to invite you to that and find out if you're familiar with it and see if you might want to come to Maine and see it.
Wow. That was State Senator Kathy Breen. I am aware of the Sequoia.
I didn't know about this.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think this was the presidential yacht that is featured in the movie Nixon. Remember the movie Nixon that was made by Oliver Stone?
With Anthony Hopkins?
With Anthony Hopkins as Nixon. Nixon used to love to, I think, get in the Sequoia, if I'm thinking of the right ship, and he used to like to sail up the Potomac, and that was like his idea of fun. Which actually does sound fun, but he'd bring like Haldeman and Ehrlichman and Kissinger, which sounds less fun. And they would sit around and go like, I think we're going to get away with it. You're going to get away with it, sir. Yeah, boss, you're going to get away with it. I really do. Hey, let's take it up to 20 knots. What do you say, guys? And so I think it was that kind of deal on the Sequoia, but it's portrayed in Oliver Stone's movie. They're all on the Sequoia. And I have to say, I've enjoyed some of Oliver Stone's work, but sometimes he has a heavy touch.
I'll say.
And so if there's one scene in here which really was like, oh, that's too much, where Anthony Hopkins as Nixon is on the Sequoia and they're saying, you know, Mr. President, what should we do about Cambodia? And he's like, bomb them all. And then someone says, oh, but Mr. President, there could be loss of life. I don't care. Bomb. And then just then the chef says, Mr. President, your steak. And he puts a steak in front of him. Nixon just then goes to cut into the steak, and it's all red and juicy. And he goes, blood, too much blood. And I'm like, oh, my God. Well, he then did turn into a bat and flutter away. But you know what I mean? I was like, come on, Oliver Stone. I don't care. Bomb them all. Here's some steak. Blood. I must go back to my ancestral Transylvania. But I believe that is a moment in film that depicts the president on the Sequoia.
Well, we should get you on that yacht and you can recreate that scene with some steak.
I will, but you know what? We have to act quickly because the Sequoia is being restored, according to State Senator Kathy Breen, over a 4-year period. We've got no time to waste. I would like to see it, though.
Yeah,
sure.
I would too,
You like that stuff.
Oh, I love
any piece of any sort of history. You're like,
well, I
oh,
wouldn't
this is
say
a plate that Reagan used. You're like, what? A plate?
Oh
my
wait
God.
a minute. I think that's.
Can I hold
get
it?
that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's a plate.
Especially
That's
that
cool.
era, late Cold War era.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm with
man.
you. I find that when someone, you
Pure
famously,
arousal.
yeah, I mean, you have Eisenhower's phone. We talked about this once, and you brought it in, and I thought that was cool, and I'm fascinated by that stuff. So
Yeah.
I would love to take a quick tour of the Sequoia, and I think it's a very nice invitation.
Yeah.
And
Because Sona, did you ever have to do like duck and cover drills in school for nuclear war, or was
Not
it just
for nuclear
earthquakes?
war, but
Yeah.
for earthquakes. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's I think something that shapes a child that when you have that existential fear of dying from the Cold War, that at no warning. You know?
Today at my kid's school, they do the same thing, duck and cover, but it's for a nut allergy.
Oh God, I can't even.
That's
a solid joke.
I know, was it?
That's how things have changed.
Was it a little cheesy?
But I mean, come on.
I don't know. It was for a nut allergy. Hello. Is that thing on?
Come on, we're a family. We're having fun.
Hey, it's time to duck and cover. Someone used the wrong pronoun. Boing. I'm just saying, times have changed. Times have changed. Anyway, welcome to our Joe Rogan moment.
I know.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I know.
Yeah, I would check it out.
I'll check out a ship.
Well, first of all,
check out a mic.
Yeah, you just lay down. The mic is 7 feet from you.
I'll check out a ship.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're not invited. She didn't say Sona. She said Conan.
Why
by
did she
implication, Matt.
She called the podcast. She called the podcast.
You know what? You're right. And I don't often admit I'm wrong, but you're right.
You never admit you're wrong.
I just did.
I know.
The gummy just hit.
Yeah.
Look at this one.
What is wrong? What is with you?
I don't know.
It's one thing
You're
that you're
such a
reclining,
goofball
but
today.
Your
You said
hand
that-
is on your belly.
I know, because I don't know. Okay.
But also, can I say, no, stay there, Sona. This is nice. I like the way you are right now.
I'm very comfortable right
But
now.
you know what I love? How entitled are you that you're in that position and you had your hand on your belly and you went, I'd check out the presidential yacht.
No.
That's
My
a lot
God.
of entitlement. That is so your generation.
You millennials.
How dare you?
millennials.
Yeah.
What is your deal with nut allergies and pronouns in my generation, bruh? I think that's why I'm like this right now. You're aging yourself, and I'm getting younger.
Yeah, and more Jamaican.
I'm repping the
Bruh.
millennials. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No,
The mills.
I'm just saying you grew up in a very different world where, okay, you had an earthquake drill, but we grew up under a constant existential threat of nuclear war, and that shaped Gourley and I and made us the cold warriors we are
I'm a
today.
walking ball of anxiety because of that.
That's not true.
It's true. It's totally true.
You know what? Every generation has their own existential fears.
Yes.
No one gets out scot-free. We all are as we always will be and always have been. I'm a wise man who can see things that others can't see.
You belong on a presidential yacht.
I do. I've got to get on
I'll
the
check
Sequoia.
out a yacht.
Of course you will. Well, anyway, it's a very kind invitation, Kathy, and I will try to make this happen because I would love to see this Sequoia. And I hope I'm right about my my Nixon reference. I believe that's the ship that he used to take up. And his favorite thing to do was sail up to Mount Vernon. I read this somewhere. I think he used to like to sail up to Mount Vernon, Washington's home. And I think by this point they were all loaded. They were drinking the whole way. And when they got to Mount Vernon, they would fire off a military salute, probably taking the chimney off of Mount Vernon and then turn around and come back. So those are good times. I wish I had a yacht with a cannon on it. That's what I wish I had.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned this? I was driving through Missouri. I was in a car. I was by myself. My car was overheating. So I pulled into the Truman Presidential Library parking lot, and my radiator overheated and green goo went all over their parking lot. And a docent from the Truman Library came out and started yelling at me. And I put my car back into drive and grinding cylinders the whole way, tore out of there.
Straight to the Eisenhower.
Yeah,
Library.
leaving a bunch of muck behind, steaming muck behind me and a furious docent. So my apologies to the Truman Presidential Library.
Sona, what's your presidential library story?
I have a car story.
You mean you were in a Lincoln?
Oh!
Huh? I know. I've been to the Reagan Library. I went to the Carter Library with you.
Yep.
I met President Carter.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
was really nice. Yeah.
I introduced you to not just the president, but the First Lady, Rosalind Carter, was there
I
as well.
started crying.
You did start crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we took a photo, he said I could stand next to him in the photo, which was really nice. And yeah.
It's a great photo. It's the four
it's
of
a
us.
wonderful photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was a really nice thing. I mean, they like were talking, and then his assistants were like, you can go in there if you want after they're done meeting. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can.
Yeah.
I was like, me?
Yeah.
It was really
And you
fun.
know what Carter didn't have? A nut allergy. Peace out. Mic drop.